I recently sold my Coop Squat. Yes, the Rhino belt squat rack I built maybe 6 years ago and I've used pretty much every morning to train with, and that's because I'm building a new belt squat. Today I'm gonna show you a DIY belt squat that I plan to replace the Coop Squat. I think it's gonna be better. I've got some ways that you can do it for cheaper using the equipment you've already got. I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Welcome. If this is your first time here, sometimes we build stuff, sometimes we review other stuff. Today, it's kind of a combo of that because it's technically DIY at the same time. It's not like I'm building it with wood or anything like that. These are parts that you can buy off the shelf. Also, if you'd like to see a cheaper version, let me know in the comments and I'll try and do a budget version over on the Budget Gym Co-op. We'll put a link below the like button that you can check out and subscribe to our other channel. That's all about saving you money while building a home gym. This one, it's not crazy expensive, but it's also not, super low price. Let's get into it. First off, we need to build the thing. Okay, so I've got a few boxes here. There's a few components that I'm gonna use as the basis for the belt squat. The base components is from Rogue Fitness. The resistance unit is from other places. There's actually just a bunch of random stuff here. You see that hoist there? I'll talk about that in a moment, but that's from Amazon. It was actually pretty cheap. But first, we must build the base. And the base unit is actually something from Rogue that's designed for an entirely different purpose, and that is their T-bar row. This is essentially their T-bar row, and I'm gonna make some modifications to it. They've started to include the parts. Look at that.
Oh, Coop, if you were here to build the last two Rogue racks,
This
you
came
would
with
know
that. Notice if that was. It is complete. All thanks to myself, no one else. Just kidding, thank you, Sam. You got a big hand.
That's what she said.
The platform is built. I will say there are cheaper options than this. I went with this one because it's heavy duty. It's got an angle and it also has a bunch of holes on it that I'm gonna repurpose in different ways. It has a bunch of holes on it.
Giggity.
Giggity. Okay, now we are going to add some things so you can use it in a belt squat. I just wanna show though, you can use this obviously as a T-bar row. That's what it's designed as. Basically, they've got this UHMW plastic here, so you can set a barbell, you put it in a landmine, and then you do your T-bar rows. One thing you'll notice, it's angled. I don't know how you squat, but I use either lifting shoes or I use wedges. I've got poor ankle mobility, and I wanna hit the quads more. So having a built-in angle is nice. Another thing, if you wanna angle it more, not very hard. You literally just put some things. I'm actually thinking about getting some UHMW pieces that fit in these in different heights. I may just print them on my 3D printer so I can put this higher or lower. Very easy way that you can add it. I will say, this thing is pretty heavy. Another thing, as you can see, it's tall enough that you should have some depth depending on where you put it. I'm gonna show you some places how we can do that. So you can be able to squat all the way to the ground. If you want to elevate it more, not very hard with the 4 posts, you could easily put a DC block or utility block or anything to elevate, 2x4, you name it. Wouldn't be that hard. The other thing, it's a lot more compact, smaller than a Rogue Rhino, will use resistance you already have, cheaper than a Rogue Rhino, portable, and you can use it for multiple things. Now, we're gonna show you the resistance options. First off, I wanna try doing it just on this platform, not attaching it to anything else. So I'm gonna bring something else out. For the first draft, I'm gonna use a spotter pin. Over time, if I was using this often and I like this setup, I'll make this probably a little bit shorter and just work better. But what I wanna try is to see, yep, not gonna work because the feet are angled. Have no fear, we have other ways. What we're gonna do instead is we're gonna attach it to the uprights on your squat rack. Yep. Okay. All right, first thing I'm gonna do for the resistance is I'm gonna try and use a Beyond Power Voltra. Reason being, it's gonna have 200 pounds of resistance. Potentially, I've got a way that I think we could get it up to 400 pounds of resistance without using 2 of them. Buying 2 of those is very expensive. Also, it just doesn't, I don't need 2 of them underneath. I think I could come up with a way that you could do 2 together, but I think 1 is fine. You just kind of got to use a hack to figure out how to double the load with 1. I've got an idea for that. And so I'm going to attach a bar mount to this and then attach the Voltra to it. So this is a utility horn. This one specifically is from Rep Fitness. You could use Rogue or whoever. One reason this one will work is because you can take the outer coating off, and it's basically a long band peg. So you could also use a band peg.
What is beyond power? You know, like what is beyond power?
Your mom is beyond power.
She's dead, so thanks, Wyatt.
This is gonna go in here. Notice how low it is. The reason that matters, you're gonna have the Voltra on top. So if you have the Voltra on top, it's gonna add some distance. So we should be enough that we can still get depth. I will say, you're gonna be using this upright. One thing that is nice about having this upright is you can use it basically to hold on to while you're squatting. I will say, we're probably gonna wanna bring that bar mount further back. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but belt squat is one of my favorite lower body movements. Ever since I've sold the Rhino, like I've really missed doing that movement. But a lot of the belt squats, they just take up a lot of space, really expensive.
They're really expensive. He says you need a Beyond Power, $2,200. We got a Rogue T-bar stand. How much does that get? Pay $500.
This is the bougie version. It's less than a Rhino. I think the budget version is pretty sick in that I'm gonna show you how you can use your weight stack on your lat pull down, your low row, whether it's plate loaded or a stack, and do it where you can start at the top of a movement. That's what I think is pretty cool. I'm just gonna show this one because I wanna try it. I'm eager beaver. All right, so one of the things that's nice about this is you can start the load at the top. So basically I'm gonna hold this and now it's waiting for me to stabilize. Load is on. It's not all the way on. I'm just gonna try and squat. Oh, yes. It's working. I'm at 40 pounds total, 40 pounds at top of the rep, 80 pounds at the bottom of the rep. And it basically graduates. So a little bit light. I'm just gonna see, let's just see what 200 pounds on this feels like. That's nice, wow. Okay, as you can see, that's not heavy enough. We must go heavier. And for a lot of you, you'll be able to squat that too. For reference, probably right now, I'm probably around a 405 back squat. Max all time is 465. Sam, how are we gonna double the load?
Well, that's easy.
Okay, we're gonna try this pulley. This is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna route that cable through this pulley. This pulley is gonna be attached to my belt squat belt. Pulley's gonna go through this, through the machine, the Voltra, and then attach on the other side. I'm doing this on the Voltra. This isn't exclusive to the Voltra. This can work on any cable machine. If you give it another attachment point, you can double the felt load. They're making a mount called an adaptive bar mount that uses, it's just hand tightened so you can move it really quickly. That would be nice for this application. But for now, all I've got is the permanent one. We're gonna take this bad boy, attach it over here to this. And then, gonna take this. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit of a setup. Long term, I'd probably use a climbing carabiner. The problem with climbing carabiners is the pulleys aren't that big. And when I talk to Beyond Power about this idea, they're like, you know, you could maybe cause some premature wear if the pulley's too small, so they recommended a bigger pulley. So that's what I'm gonna try. But if anybody has a recommendation for a climbing carabiner with a bigger pulley, let me know in the comments because I'll probably pick it up. Also, anybody wondering like what this piece is, this is from a Bells of Steel Kraken. I don't think it's an off-the-shelf piece, but you can find something like this. All right, so I'm actually gonna lower it just so I don't die. I'm just gonna lower it to 100 pounds and we'll just see how that's gonna feel. It's at 65 right now, which double that, 120. That's 100 pounds right there. And it feels every bit as the 200 pounds felt before. Dang. That's awesome. I'm gonna go 150. So that's 300 pound belt squat total weight. I think that's a decent number. for a belt squat. Oh, yeah.
One to lift up.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's more than you're gonna need. Dang. That's nice. All right, so now I'm gonna show you some options for using this with a cable stack. That worked out pretty much like I was hoping, which is great, but not everybody has a Voltra. I really don't even recommend getting into that system necessarily yet, unless you've really got a bunch of money to spend, because jury's still out on durability. I love them, they're amazing, but they're really expensive. I mean, you can get something like this for less than what 2 of those are. So, but I want to show you what you can do with a just traditional cable stack or a plate pulley stack. So, few ways you can do this. One, we could go directly to the stack. So the way this would work is you're going to go in here. You've got a stack. This could work on your Adonis. This could work on these pulleys. If you pull them all the way to the bottom, you're gonna deal with some height issues. So then you may have to build your platform up a little bit, something like that. Although I have a workaround for that here in a moment too. But this is a way that you could do belt squats on your cable tower. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind is I would not use that. The reason being, I'd have to start with the weight at the bottom. Anybody who belt squatted, getting out of the hole can be really hard. So basically, you'd have to get in here like this, attach this, you know, like, which I know people do this, but it's not ideal, and I don't even know if I'd call it safe. It's just, so you get in here like this, then stand up, which doesn't really work very well with a heavy stack. I mean, this is only 60 pounds. So then you do your squats, which I just want to say, the smoothness of a cable stack like this on a belt squat, it feels incredible. Feels so good. Okay, so there's your belt squat, but we're gonna do you one better, Bubba. We're gonna start at the top. Sam, bring out the secret weapon.
So this is your just basic, I want to say $45 or so chain hoist that you can buy off of Amazon. They're greasy, they're ugly, they're archaic, some would say, but they work.
All right, so we're going to attach this to the top.
Up here?
Nope, this one.
This one?
Let's just try this one. One thing I'm thinking, if you've got a shorter rack, I mean, this isn't a short rack, this is a standard height, this is 90 inches. So they make a 100 inch and 108 inch. But a lot of you are gonna have a 90 inch or so rack, whether you're using this on this or the Adonis or something like that. So you got all this chain. The way this is gonna work, we'll attach this down here. Now, you're like, wow, I don't really wanna do that. I don't either, but a couple things. One, they do make them so they can give more pull on each one, so you don't have to go through this whole chain, basically. The other thing is you really only have to use this for the first set of your working weight. You know, like maybe you're starting off on your warm-ups or whatever, this could work. This is a way that basically you're gonna be able to lift it up and offload it. If you wanna lift it up in a different way, depending on how heavy you're going, you don't have to use something like this. You could like take a handle and pull it up and then hook it in to a chain. The reason that this is more convenient is, yeah, you have to deal with that noise and black hands and stuff. But once you attach it, you can then offload it to your belt at the top of rep and then start it. So I'll show you how that works. So we're basically gonna attach this in here. Need a carabiner.
Another option too is a motorized cable hoist.
Right.
And you can get those for like 60, 80 bucks off of Amazon as well.
Yep, with a button.
Just a button.
Yep, a lot easier. Yep. So, but let's just go heavy just so we can show it. So let's go 200. The reason I angled it is so that this isn't in the way. If you put it here, it may be in your head space. So it's just a little bit nicer to get out of the way. You can then get in here, hook into it, and then you're basically gonna lift up, and then you can undo this, beep, and then squat. Feels very nice. It's a heavy stack, 200 pounds. I mean, depending on how many reps you're doing, I mean, this stack of 250 pounds, some are 300 pounds, you're gonna be more than enough. If you have something like an Adonis that has plate post 2, you can go even heavier. Then when you're done, you offload it. So you take this, squat down till the tension's released, and you unbuckle. Pretty dang cool. So you can start at the top of the rep. The annoying part that you're gonna find with this is switching between weights. So let's say you do this, but you wanna go up in weight each set. Well, you gotta offload that chain hoist. So what I would say probably the best option, like Sam mentioned, is probably a motorized unit. Okay, let me show you one more option that I think you could do with this same setup. Okay, now one other option you could do with this, I believe this is from Pulley. This is a pulley with 5/8" screws that are attached to them. So this goes through a hole, you can attach it to anything. One thing you could do, if you have like say a functional trainer and it doesn't allow you to go low enough, something like this, where you don't really want to start there, you could build up, and that's something you could do. You could still do the chain hoist if you wanted to do that. But one thing you could do is you could route this cable through this bullet pulley, and then that would give you enough depth to basically do a belt squat to full ROM without issue. The problem you're gonna have is you're still gonna have to start at the bottom of a rep. One workaround with that, two, is you could do the same method like you have here, which is add a chain hoist. Or something I see a lot of people do that don't wanna deal with the chain hoist is you can just attach a chain to the top of your upright and then lift it up and attach it. And then you just have to do it once. The annoying part is you're gonna have to find a way to lift it up manually. So you can do that with a bar or something to lift it up, but it's just gonna be more labor intensive versus using something like chain hoist that's lifting it for you. So that's another option. All that said, this worked out pretty much how I wanted it to. This is gonna replace my Rogue Rhino. I can do belt squats on this. Also, it gives me a pulley from the floor, so I can use it for other pulley movements like rows, curls, whatever, attached, and then I have a platform I can use it to. I also saw somebody on Reddit, they were using this along with that kind of setup and doing weighted dips on it, and this allows you to have basically a platform to stand up on to start at the top of the rep. Same thing with pull-ups, all sorts of things. It gives you a platform that's mobile, portable. If you're using Voltro or cables or whatever, I mean, there's other companies that are making digital resistance too. You could attach this to a tonal or something too if you wanted. This is a way that you can do it. For now, this seems like the best option. I'm hoping after making this video that this is gonna inspire some companies to actually make something that's designed for this purpose, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Something from say Rep Fitness that utilizes their Eris, I think that would be amazing. They had the Rep belt squat for a while. They haven't really done a lot with it. My guess is they're working on something else. So that would be amazing. But for now, this seems like the best option. Okay, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Are you gonna do something similar? Where'd I miss it? What things could I add? Let me know. This has been Coop from Garage and Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.